Hi guys, and welcome to this video on the new moon in Sagittarius that happens on the 23rd of November 2022. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. In these videos and the chart you see next to me here, that's a snapshot of the sky. So what I do is I analyze the chart to try and understand what the energy of the new moon is all about so that you can then make use of the things that are naturally supported and kind of handed to you, and you can avoid some of the complications and the potential pitfalls. So this new moon happens at 11:57 in the evening, and that's based on Central European time. If you're in a different time zone, then take that into account, please. But I always mention this, the new moon and the full moon, on an energetic level, they take a few days. So whether you become aware of this or you tap into the energy of this new moon at 6 p.m. or at 12 p.m., as far as I'm concerned, it makes not a lot of difference. The new moon in itself is when the sun and the moon conjunct, right? So they sit on top of each other. By the way, in the comments the other day, someone said, how do I know if I have a new moon in my chart? You can see it here. The symbol for the moon and the sun, they're at 1 degree in Sagittarius and they're sitting right on top of one another. If it's a full moon, the sun and the moon oppose each other in this chart. So the moon is going to be on the other side. So you can see that for yourself just by looking at this wheel here. But the new moon in itself, just think about the moon and the cycle it's in during this time, right? It's kind of recharging its batteries. It's taking a time out. It goes pitch black. It looks inward and it says, okay, I do this every month. What am I going to do in the next 28 days? What is this cycle about? What is a priority for me? I don't just want to be kind of swept away by circumstances. I want to have a plan for myself, and I want to take charge of that and do something about it. So the new moon is interesting because it's a period in the moon cycle where it becomes very aware of the need to have your own mission in life, not just to be reactive, to shine in the public, to kind of balance things out with other people. Sometimes it's important to go off on your own, to think for yourself, to go dark as such, and to say, I'm not so interested in other voices or other influences right now. There's this fire inside of me that I'm going to honor. I'm going to speak to it and see what that wants me to do. So the new moon then, it allows you to understand a lot about yourself and really what your will is. What's so interesting to me a lot of times is that the personality or the body or something, it wants things independently of what you may be considering. And it's something that on this day, if you pay attention to it, you'll become aware of your will for your life on a larger scale. So what is it that I really want to do? You get very clear on that. And the other thing about the new moon is that it's pulling in this energy. So it's like a spring that's being pushed. And then once that's released, it jumps into action, right? So all of these ideas about what's really important to me then lead to you kind of shooting out of the box and saying, okay, off I go. So there's an amazing sense of enthusiasm and independence involved in this just by it being a new moon that says, hey, listen, just take a moment to look around your life and to be quiet and not to work and to take a time out to reflect on what's going on and what you really want. So the underlying thing with that is the implication is that you do have control. You are capable of adjusting your circumstances. You have a will of your own. You can look at things and try them out and assume that they will work. So it's all of these positive things that say, I'm going to take a new journey because there could be something fabulous on the other side of this hill. There's a natural optimism associated with that. But then also we have a new moon, obviously, in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign. It's in the middle of winter. So it's really someone who's self-motivated. Someone who says, okay, this is what interests me. The world is covered in snow and it's icy and frozen. So I may not get a lot of response, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go on my own little mission and find something for myself. So it's incredibly optimistic, and optimistic to the extent of obstacles and blocks on my journey are normal. Like if there aren't any blocks, then I'll become a bit suspicious what's going on here. So I'm willing to overcome difficulties and see those as stepping stones towards me getting what I want out of life. So I really like this because it's like a, you know, like a, what they call a mirage in the middle of the desert. This is like an emotional mirage in the middle of winter here. If you're, it doesn't matter what hemisphere you're in, but it'll be winter in the northern and summer if you're in this southern hemisphere. But ultimately, it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's winter or summer. It's really that sense of, okay, I get a do-over. I get to celebrate myself in a sense and be crystal clear on what I want, and I get to do that for myself. So it's nice. It's like a fire in a cottage in the middle of the snow. You know, it's a place that's personal to you, that feels warm, that feels comfortable, and that allows you to operate and to go out into the world. So your headquarters, they exist within you today, and that's really all you need. So if you are in a situation where you don't have a lot of support or a lot of people cheering you on, and you do have to do it for yourself, this is the perfect moment to say, what is it in my life that I want to bring into it? And I've got to make a plan. You know, like for instance, if I mean, this is going to be another one of my super banal examples, excuse me. But if I am interested in boats, right, and I never go to the yacht club and never sail, then I'm not going to meet other sailors. It's as simple as that. So I've got to discover that interest in myself first. You know, if dad or mum or growing up, there weren't any boats around. If, you know what I mean? So sometimes you got to try different things to see if there's an affinity, and then you know you like it and you can structure your life around that. And if you do then join a yachting club, you'll make friends who also sail. And it's just a whole different influence that only you can bring into your life. The yachting club isn't going to come to you, is what I mean. Okay, so 1 degree, the sun and the moon both are 1 degree. 1 in numerology is the same as a new moon. Again, it's about the magician in the tarot. It's someone who says, okay, what am I being told here? What's important to me? And how can I do something amazing in the world with that? So you're really being addressed here by the planets as an independent contractor. And it's like, okay, so what are you going to create and do that you enjoy, that you find fun and meaningful? Oh, so if you're someone who's employed and you're thinking of starting your own business, this is an amazing time to get started with it, or to make the decision to say, do you know what? I've had an interest in making my own little chessboards out of wood or crystal for the last 20 years, and I'm finally going to make it a business. That's my path, and I own it now. The new moon then forms a ton of relationships with other things in the chart. So first of all, the thing I want to draw your attention to is it trines. So the sun and the moon here, they form a trine, which means they're 120 degrees away from Jupiter in Pisces. Then Jupiter in Pisces trines Black Moon Lilith in Cancer. Black Moon Lilith in Cancer trines the new moon in Sagittarius. Those three combine then to create a big blue triangle. And if I see this in a chart, it's called a grand trine. And a grand trine is usually in one element. Sometimes it can contain another, but usually it's in one. Like in this case, so we've got a new moon in Sagittarius, that's fire, but then we've got the other points in Pisces and in Cancer, which is water. Those two elements don't really get on very well. If you think of it in a literal sense, doesn't work. And on an emotional sense, also, it means, this is a bit of a balancing act. So the balancing act here is between your fundamental default setting is, hey, it's all systems go here. I'm fun-loving and optimistic. I want to get going. Jupiter in Pisces, interesting, because at 28 degrees in Pisces, 2 and 8 is 10, that's 1. It's actually, if you take the initiative to listen to your intuition, to the inner fire, to your higher self, your angels, whatever you want to call it, that's where the good luck comes from. So it actually works really nicely because it's saying, honor the inner voice, please. That's where the good luck is. And then it trines Black Moon Lilith. Black Moon Lilith, if I'm looking at your birth chart, I look at Black Moon Lilith and Chiron to see where your shadow self tries to hold you back. It's like where you're working against yourself, right? In this case, it's at 24 degrees in Cancer. What I feel you're able to overcome is your own reluctance and your own resistance to doing things that are fundamentally good for you. So you learn to eat your spinach, right? Because it's full of iron and you feel better after it. This is like the emotional version. You do things in life like start your own business or join a club or group or whatever that you wouldn't usually do because it may feel awkward or it may feel uncomfortable, but deep down you know that this is taking care of yourself in some way. That's the kind of thing you can start to do. Yep. I like it. Okay. What else have we got? We've got the new moon then in Sagittarius opposing the midheaven in Gemini at 5 degrees. Okay. Midheaven traditionally shows me what you're going to be good at work-wise. The thinking behind it, the chart is like a wheel, right? The rising sign, the ascendant, that's sunrise, that's the sign of the zodiac sitting on the horizon. Midheaven is noon, descendant is sunset, dusk, and then the IC is the middle of the night. And the thinking is that at noon, you're most like yourself, you're productive. Most people have got up by then. They're doing something, working towards something. So with this being in Gemini at 5 degrees, the thing that you're very good at here as well is planning ahead, planning for the future, looking at alternate options or alternative options, not sure. Other options which promise to bring more freedom into your life. You're good at working with information, finding solutions. If you're a writer or a communicator or an accountant or someone who has to work with info and detail and to structure it in a certain way, that works really nicely. And what I'm getting is that also talking to other people may provide you with a solution that you can't find on your own, and then this opportunity for freedom appears. So you're working, again, on your own case. You're interested in your journey, what you're doing, and there's not much here that is a potential distraction. So if on this day you find, oh my God, you know, I'm feeling really, if you're really busy, you're not doing any kind of self-reflection, you're talking to other people, then I feel like you may be missing out, because a grand trine does indicate something special. And I find that I'm stuttering because the specialness of the day, it's kind of weird. If you're out with other people and having a good time, that's great. Why, you know, but if you're not, then the opportunity is to kind of contemplate a little bit and to get clear on what you want, and then to take care of those needs. The thing is, if one of your desires is, I want a larger social circle and more friends and more of a network, it makes no sense to not hang out with them and to sit by yourself, to contemplate that, to figure it out, and then to call them and to say, actually, do you know what? I know that this is for me now. No. So you can do both, right? I mean, you can, even if you're busy and with a group of people, you can take 2 minutes to go out to the balcony and look at nature, the trees, and to just think about what it is you want. I mean, it's not like you have to devote the whole day to this. What's also interesting is that next to the new moon in Sagittarius, we've got Venus at 9 degrees, so it's 8 degrees away, so that still counts as a conjunction. And then we have Mercury at 10 degrees in Sagittarius, also still conjunct. I use an orb of 10. So Venus is the planet of love and beauty. In Sagittarius, she really benefits from experiencing new things. She really likes that. Education, travel, adventure, doing things which are a little bit risky or things that are just for fun or frivolous. It's at 9 degrees though. 9 is spirituality and completion, and it's the hermit in the tarot. So I want to go on my own adventure. That's what I love. I don't want to be told where to go and when and wait. I want to find something that I can do on my own that then is an adventure every day of my life if I engage with it. Mercury is at 10 degrees in Sagittarius. I have my own point of view. I have my own message, and I want to find a way of expressing that. Thank you. So if you're a life coach, but you've been shy, or if you do have like a personal experience of healing, but I don't know, you don't know how it's going to go down, you don't really want to share it, but then you do want to share it, that's the kind of thing where you feel compelled to actually go on your own adventure. And if it's a book, then that's your adventure. If it's a new job, if it's a new relationship, whatever it may be, but ultimately, this new moon is very much, I feel, for people who've been around for a bit and who've experienced highs and lows. And this is the kind of thing that comes along and says, try again. It might work out amazingly well. You never know. And it's that inner optimism that, well, actually, who's to say that it isn't going to work out well? And that's what you jump on and go with. And that's really the blessing of this new moon, this optimism and youthful adventurousness. The other personal planet, Mars, that's at 21 degrees in Gemini, and Mars is ambition and drive. 21 is 3. 3 is communication and new beginnings, and Gemini is also communication, expressing yourself and finding solutions. So your big drive is to get on with it and to do something that kind of sets you apart, and that says, this is just mine that I've built for myself here. What else have we got? So we've got the grand trine, we've got the opposition to the midheaven. Yeah, that's it. So those are the aspects the moon forms with other things. I've looked at the conjunction, but other things that kind of jump out at me. Next to Jupiter, we've got Neptune. Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. That's at 22 degrees in Pisces. So 22 is the master number of the builder, right? Your inner world, that's where the significant bricks are that you can use to build your house. So please do look within, whether you're rushed off your feet or not. Chiron is at 12 degrees in Aries. That's you kind of, you know, like in a boxing ring, not that I'm an expert on this, but usually the guy, like at the break or something, he sits down and they take his gum guard out and give him water and a towel and stuff. And there's always a little coach or something like helping him and saying, you can do it, you know? That's what this is. You have like a spiritual little coach saying, you can do it. Get back in the... God, I can't believe I'm using sports metaphors now. That's a new low for me. Get back in the ring. Not that I've ever been in a ring. Uranus is in Taurus at 16 degrees. Sense of adventure. Again, you know what I said earlier about challenges are part of the process. I'm willing to like hit little speed bumps. It's normal. I'm cool with it. I'm fine. I don't expect everything to be perfect. So, you know, for the perfectionists listening, Uranus is the miraculous and the explosive and the uncontrollable. And that's in Taurus at 16 degrees. So you're very creative and much more willing to let go of things. So if you are a bit of a control freak, you know, if you're planning an event or something and every little fork and knife has to be at a certain angle and it's just a nightmare, you'll be able to let go of that and find something new and interesting where you don't have to control every little detail. The North Node is at 12 degrees in Taurus next to that. The North Node in your birth chart, it shows me what you're moving towards on a spiritual level. Here, it's kind of the direction of the day or what you can get closer towards. 12 degrees in Taurus. Oh, that's interesting. Your environment can speak to you and give you new ideas as well. Combined with the midheaven in Gemini and Mars in Gemini, opening yourself up to new experiences, new circumstances, you'll be able to analyze and make sense of them very well so that you understand what you can use and what works for you and what doesn't in this whole process of you going on a new independent journey of your own. And Taurus is an earth sign, the most fixed of the earth signs. So by pursuing this different way of doing things, you're able to create a new solidity and a new structure which will then please you in future. Yeah. Let's see what else. Black Moon Lilith, I've mentioned. Part of fortune is an Arabic part. I look at that sometimes. In this case, it's at 10 degrees in Virgo. Making sense of it yourself and then doing something about it yourself, that's where the good luck is. And the South Node at 12 degrees in Scorpio, the thing that isn't going to be problematic at all on this day are your feelings. You're able to transcend your own feelings. You're not going to lash out or retaliate, or you're really able to transcend little annoyances, little grievances that would usually hold you back. They're not touching you. You're kind of on another level of that today. Pluto is at 26 in Capricorn. That's urging you to make some change in your life here. So whether it is work or you want to understand things more clearly in order to help you on your mission, the direction of moving towards change, that's important here. And then Saturn is at 19 degrees in Aquarius. And that's very much about, again, I want to figure out what my rules and my ideas are in here and do something about those. I don't really want to expose myself to other people's directions and their idea of what's good and right and proper on this day. Strongest mode is mutable, so it is about change and being open-minded and saying, okay, what's coming in that I can work with and use to change my life, my circumstances. And the strongest element is fire, and that's followed by air. They're both masculine elements. Fire is about life, purpose, passion, so that's not surprising. And air is about perspective and abstract ways of thinking and communication. So you're really able to understand what it is you want and then how to create that, what structures you need to put in place to make it happen. Ultimately, it's that sense of enthusiasm and that sense of it's good and right and proper for me to try again, because things will work out. So that's what I get here during this new moon in Sagittarius. I hope it gives you an idea of what the energy is all about. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. In my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology. So to draw up your birth chart like this, a wheel like this, and to see where your planets are and how they interact, I need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. If you don't have the time of birth, then order a chart rectification with me, please. That's a process where you send me 10 or more life events. And then I work out your time of birth manually by looking at the events. And once I have your birth chart, I can look at your life purpose, default setting, relationships, finance, home life, romance, travel, education. If you have any questions about what's coming up in future, I look at your transits and your progress chart for that. If you're asking about moving or potential locations, what's wonderful with that is astrocartography. It really shows me how different places work for you. It's amazing. So if you have any questions, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share it online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best.